As we may have seen in prior Our Musical World units, books, and videos, it is precisely the potential of music and the arts to provide healing and comfort, to communicate pain and suffering, to speak out against injustice, advocate harmony, or to forge stronger communities in the face of persecution that has given our world some of its most incredible music. From the greatest of hardships in our planet's checkered past has come some of the greatest art and music the world has ever known. Human history is littered with event after event by which one group or empire has attempted to control or assert its will on another group in a manner that is cruel and imperceptibly inhumane. One such example is the Armenian genocide, from which the term genocide is believed to have been first used during and after World War I at the hands of the Ottoman Empire. Although, as in much of our world's history, only a handful of leaders, in this case of the Ottoman Empire, were ultimately responsible for the arrest of Armenian intellectuals on April 15, 1915, and later the persecution, starvation, and killing of between 1 and 1.5 million Armenians, the general lack of discussion and straightforward healing of this past makes 3 points extremely clear. Not a single empire has survived the persecution and injustices against another human group. Not a single injustice has been healed without full disclosure, acknowledgement, and scrutinizing education. And not a single persecuted, tried, and tested group across our human family has emerged from the pain of the past without the use of faith in some form, and particularly art and music, to aid in the healing process.
My name is Ara Topouzian. I live in Farmington Hills, Michigan. I'm of Armenian descent, and I'm also a musician that plays the Kanun. I actually have enjoyed Armenian and Middle Eastern music since I was a child. Going to the Armenian weekends and the dances and so forth, and it was something that was natural to me to enjoy the music. So I would say as of a 7-8-year-old, I enjoyed music. How that evolved was watching musicians play, hearing the music, feeling the culture, and thus I sort of fell into playing the Kanun, an instrument that's not played all that often, but such a beautiful instrument. And to me, it represents my culture. It represents the Armenian history, Middle Eastern history. I feel that I'm doing my part to preserve this culture. I feel that I'm doing my part to keeping past musicians alive that brought this music from overseas, and to me that's very important, because you're talking about music that's hundreds of years old, not on sheet music, performed really by musicians passing them down by memory, and how I learned was by watching other musicians. So it's very important to me to keep that culture alive and also to pass that along. I feel that it's my duty as not only a musician but as an Armenian to be able to preserve and keep this form of music alive. The question that I probably most often get asked is, what is Armenian music and where did it come from? And Armenian music spans a lot of different cultures, a lot of different types and styles of music. For me, as an Armenian musician, there's the liturgical, sacred Armenian music. There's the classical Armenian music, and then there's the dance music, which we call KEF, K-E-F, which is a Middle Eastern to Armenian party. So for me, those different styles of Armenian music conjure up a lot of different emotions. If it's church music, liturgical music, it's very emotional. I think of the Armenian genocide, where the Armenians were driven from their homelands by the Ottoman Empire Turks back in 1915. So I think of that because that music just hones in on all of those emotions. A lot of that sacred church music was written by an Armenian composer and musician named Gomidas Vartabed. And Gomidas is actually a genocide survivor, but wrote quite a bit of not only the church music, but believe it or not, the folk music as well. And he used what is called the Koma system, which was similar to the makams, which is what we play today. It was the major difference is the makam in Middle Eastern music has a lot of the ornamentation to it, whereas Gomidas said, here's the scale that I'm going to use, but it's not going to have that ornamentation to it. He did this in Armenian, he did this in Turkish, he did this in Kurdish, he did this in all different types of languages and different styles. So Gomidas to us is really the father of Armenian music. The piece that I want to play though for you is called Dele Yaman, and most Armenians have heard the song. It's a folk piece with a classical overtone to it, written hundreds of years ago. What I like about this piece, it fits for the instrument that I'm playing, the Kanun, and it's a piece that really conjures up a lot of emotion. And so to me, it says it all. And it says it all. It says the good, bad, and the ugly for culture. And it sort of brings it all home. So that's the piece that I like to play for you right now. you know, all things don't have to be of modern age. When we're playing with our cell phones and our video games and our fancy new digital video camera equipment, we sometimes forget about the traditions that actually got us there, that really tied family together, that ties remembrance. You know, you often hear the younger generation say, well, I don't remember ... whether it's an aunt and uncle or a grandparent. And I feel that the instruments, the music that we play, the music that's heard, ties that together. So if anything else, if you leave and you forget everything that I've played and heard, it's, you don't forget.